A very pleasant morning to everybody present here. Myself, Ananya, from third year Biomedical Engineering, here as today's host. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar on process of innovation development, technology readiness level, commercialization of lab technologies, and tech transfer. I would like to extend my heartiest welcome to our chief guest, Mr.T.Vignesh Kumar, our principal, Dr. A. Ramesh, and all the staffs and students present here. One tree can start a forest. One word can frame a goal. One candle can wipe out the darkness. Our leader has the courage to stand alone. I would now like to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. A. Ramesh, to share a few words. Sir, you're mute, sir.
Yeah. Good morning to all. Respected guest for today's function, Mr.T.Vignesh Kumar, founder and CEO, MAM Industries, Head of Biomedical Engineering Department, Ms. Archana, colleagues of Biomedical Engineering Department, and student friends. Once again, a happy morning and welcome you all for this wonderful event. Our country is celebrating Innovation Week from yesterday onwards. From 11th to 18th, our country is celebrating the Innovation Week. So as a part of the Innovation Week, our Biomedical Engineering Department, in association with Institution Innovation Council, is organizing this wonderful program. Innovation, yes, it is a key word for all the students and as well as the faculty members. At our institution, we have created an innovation ecosystem by establishing Institution Innovation Council in association with Ministry of Education. So with the help of that particular council, we regularly organize a number of programs. So for innovation, the first step is critical thinking. First, design thinking, critical thinking, problem analysis. So as a student, you have to do all these exercises. How to think critically, what is the concept of design thinking, and what are the methodology available for problem solving. So that is the first step in any innovation activities. Then next, ideathon. Once you undergo these steps and after identifying the problem statement, you can able to gather many number of ideas. So those ideas, sometimes it may be feasible and sometimes it may be complicated. So from the ideathon, you have to come up with one or two ideas that is in fact called as your innovation. Once you finalize, okay, this is my innovation, then you can start working on that. And if your innovation leads to formation of a prototype or a real product, you can go ahead with that by getting help from external agencies. And once the product is developed or proof of concept is developed, then you can seek the feasibility of commercialization of your products so that you can have your own startup or you can become a successful entrepreneur. So these are the various followed in becoming a successful entrepreneur. As I said earlier, our Institution Innovation Council is organizing a number of programs for the benefit of all our students regularly to make them as a successful entrepreneur. Then apart from that, our college is also having a Section 8 company in the name of CITChennai Institute of Technology Business Incubation Forum. So through that also, they are providing all necessary mentoring support and guidance and also infrastructure facilities for having your own startup. Already, our alumni members, two of our alumni members are successfully running their business in that particular premises. And the students, many students, more than 20 students have already commenced their startup in that particular Chennai Institute of Technology Business Forum. So facilities are available. Support is given to you. Now, I request all of you to participate in all the innovation activities that are being conducted at our department, at our institution. I feel extremely happy that biomedical engineering has come forward to organize this wonderful program by inviting an eminent person. With his wide industry experience, at his very young age itself, he has become a successful entrepreneur. He has founded a company. So listening to him will definitely motivate you and inspire you. Today, in fact, is the India Youth Day. India is celebrating its Youth Day to commemorate the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. So that also coincided with our program. So I request all the students to listen with our speaker and also to interact to get more and more information so that you can also ignite the spark within you to become a successful entrepreneur. Once again, I would like to extend my sincere welcome to our chief guest and also to all other participants for this wonderful webinar. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's always been a pleasure hearing you. Sir, our chief guest has gone offline for a minute, sir. We'll wait for him to join and then we'll continue the session, sir. Our chief guest has joined. Sir, am I audible, sir?
You can proceed. Again, yes, left.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible now, sir?
Yeah, now it's audible. I can hear you.
Thank you, sir. We'll continue, sir.
Sure, we can proceed.
Moving on, I take this moment to introduce the speaker of today's session. We have with us Mr. T. Vignesh Kumar, founder and CEO, MAM Industries. Mr. Vignesh is a fast-paced learner and challenger who challenges himself. He has professional knowledge in softwares like CAD, CREO, ANSYS, etc., and is equally challenged in mechanical designing, 2D and 3D modeling, product development, etc. He has also played vital roles in research and development projects as an application engineer, mechanical engineer, and design engineer, research engineer, and so on. Now, without further ado, we welcome Mr. T. Vignesh Kumar to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Okay, can I go live?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay then. Okay. I welcome everyone for this webinar regarding the topic on process of innovation, development, and technology readiness. Again, I welcome everyone on behalf of MAM Industries as well as on behalf of CITChennai, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. As Ma'am was giving a brief idea about like what we are exactly, I'm saying again, my name is Vignesh Kumar, and I'm the founder and technical director of MAM Industries. So we are one of the leading manufacturer support and also a startup to institutions. Especially, we support a lot for IIT Madras, for the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Department, and manufacturing and forming labs, and new product development in IIT projects, especially for master students and PhD level. And we are also into manufacturing support companies for like Taurus Robotics, Medicure Medical Solutions, and all. So when I received this invitation, I was very happy that to speak on a topic of process of innovation development. To start with, as you might know a little about my profile, one of my expertise when I studied in masters in Europe was it's a product innovation and intellectual property. So this is one of a very unique and a very kind of a subject which is really an interesting one, which should be learned by a lot of engineers, especially who are interested in developing new ideas in the market. As you know, today, like we have a lot of booming markets for startup companies, especially in electrical vehicles, medical areas, agricultures, manufacturing sectors, and even a lot of IoT development products, etc. So I was really happy to present this topic of process of innovation development and technological readiness level. Okay, first let us see what is this technology development is about. Innovation, as I'm saying, like innovation is just nothing but it's just an idea and a practice or an object. So if you say you want to innovate something new in the market, you can innovate in many ways. You don't need to tell like I'm going to innovate a new vehicle. It's not like that. You can either innovate an idea, or else you can innovate an practice or an object that is perceived as a new or an improvement over the existing one. And the idea of innovating can be done by an individual or a group of social system also. So as a student in part of a development studies, I consider this innovation is which is meant to be a basic level knowledge which should be developed among our young engineers who are upcoming in the futures. As today, you know, there is a lot of products which have been innovated, especially in e-vehicles. Maybe it's like two-wheeler, four-wheeler automotives, electric cars. Even innovation takes place in space applications, electronic industries, and a lot of things. You have to be really having a basic idea like what innovation is. And okay, as we speak about innovation, some of the basic questions which you should come in your mind, what I'm suggesting you, like what you should feel when you say like, okay, I'm going to innovate a product or I'm going to innovate a feature. How can this be done? What should the ideas, the methods should I follow really to innovate something? Especially like first you have to think, where do developments, innovation should come from? These are some of the basic factors which I consider when I'm working in my project. As I also for a lot of innovation projects, some of them are like we submitted a proposal for a company called BFW, which is called Bharat Fritz Werner, and we submitted an idea for a smart ship evacuation system through Startup India. So whenever I'm telling some concepts to you, I'll also put some examples. The reason is I don't want something to be very quite theory, which makes you a little boring in the very early morning. So let us say some examples which I have felt in the industry, so that it will be better for you to understand in very simpler words. So they asked like, we need a smart ship evacuation system. So what we did, we started checking what are the development innovations should be done. We were previously studying the new one, which were developing in our innovation projects, the existing products for chip evacuation. Then we were collecting all the similar data which we needed. Then we were thinking, what are the factors which are all originating for this innovation? What are the main factors, especially influencing the origin of this innovation? There are some factors which will be very mandatory and those you have to follow, and you have to always keep moving with your products. You can't change it. For example, like e-vehicles, you have to always follow the same vehicle architecture what other people follow. Maybe you can make an innovation in motors, but you can't say I can make the innovation in the entire system of the e-vehicle. That is quite a big challenging work. But you say I have an innovation idea in developing the new motors for the existing e-vehicles. That is an innovation. And so this is one of the points, like what are the factors influencing their origin, and how does their origin influence later their consequences. For example, today you say I innovate a product, and after a period of time you say that innovation becomes old or something that is not really suiting the current environment. It is not eco-friendly. Such things have to be considered in you. So always think about that. What are the innovations that you are planning to bring it out, and what are the factors that are influencing this origin, and how does this origin influence their later consequence? The innovation, like for example, I'm saying is like you might start it in a very early period, but it has to be carried out for a longer time. For example, like a very old example is when please you can check like when was the first camera invented. It was invented on 1814. But you know the first development, that is the first innovation came from for a new camera was more than nearly like 120 to 150 years only they developed the first innovation in the camera. Till that it was in the invention time. They just invented it and they were using for a period of more than 100 years. But today's economy, as considering the global market and the worldwide needs for the people, what I suggest you is like today innovations will not have that much long gap between one product and another product. For example, as you've been very aware, like all of the people use for smartphones. Can you able to imagine whether a next smartphone version can be coming after more than 5 to 10 years? Will you really be agreeing with the market, with the company? Okay, let me wait for 5 years, even if it is an Apple company. No, you can't. That is what the people are really, like, companies are really focusing on. In this part, innovation plays a major role. So for every year or more than for every 6 months, every companies want to innovate new products, and they want to attract the customers, and they want to increase their customers. So to achieve the market, to achieve the growth, and to motivate and increase their customers, all companies started focusing on idea called innovation. But innovation is not a new one, actually, true to say. It has been started more than 150 to 200 years back. And as far as I'm concerned, like when I had my education in masters, there are a lot of things like we are lagging slowly late in our industry. But true to say, innovation was developed more than 100 to 200 years back. So this is second one. So what are all the points I'm saying is that generally you can consider for developing a new product, or you can for a feature, or you can consider for an idea or a practice. So as the topic suggests, process of innovation development and technology readiness level. What is this innovation development process actually? What does it mean actually? True to say, there are a lot and types of innovations are available. For example, like organizational innovation, process innovation, product innovation, market innovation, eco-innovation. Don't think that innovation, okay, just means that we have to innovate a product idea or feature which is related to some automotive industry, some aerospace industries, some electronic industries, from agriculture products, or some food products, or some day-to-day plastic commercial products. Doesn't mean that innovation is confined not only to one particular thing. Innovation can be categorized as such these types also, such as I was saying, like organizational innovations, process innovation, product innovation, and market innovation. Let me put in very simple words, like what is these things are. Organizational innovation. For example, you own a company. Always, like every company in industry, like in India, they follow standard working hours for their engineers and laborers. For 7 days, 7 days in a week, they'll work for 6 weeks. 6 days, and morning from 9 to 6. What if you are a new company and you are giving an idea like to your employees? Let us work 4 weeks, 4 days per week. That is enough for achieving our target. This is something called organizational innovation. So you innovate something within your organization. You give some additional boost to your employees, stating, okay, 4 hours is enough for us to work. You're going to work from morning 9 to 6. Okay, why don't you follow like working from morning 10 to evening 8? Or like you split your 8 hours working in conventional time whenever you're feeling it free if you're working from home. And these are something called organizational innovations. These have been developed by the companies to motivate their employees such that they don't feel working as a burden to the company. Instead, they are very eager in supporting the company in big way. And second thing is about process innovation. Process innovation is something like, for example, to say there is a company called TalkDesk. So they use cloud contact centers to change the customer support process to be organized. This is called process innovation. The way of process they are conducting to reach their target customers using cloud contact centers. This is process innovation. And product innovation. Obviously, you might be very familiar with product innovation, as you can see in the market today very clearly. Any new product, e-vehicle products. A lot of companies develop products on e-vehicles. And any new food product, which they are trying to develop a new food product in the company. As you are very familiar with product innovation, I don't need to much highlight about it. You can see two-wheeler, four-wheeler, automotives, IoTs, even a lot of new technologies developed for manufacturing based on innovations. Multi-optional problems to be solved using one manufacturing technology. Such things are product innovation. As well as like marketing innovation. Marketing innovation, it's just concerned to one particular team. Like it is only for a sales and marketing team. What they do in marketing innovation? They start promoting ideas like new things. For example, they go to their company. They are like companies. There is a company name called Häagen-Dazs. These companies are especially very good in they were very good in achieving their markets using something called waste-free containers. They developed an idea called waste-free containers to capture the market. This is market innovation. So like this, innovation comes in a lot of forms, like how it can be done, in what way it can be reached to the people, as well as like in what are the better ways to develop it. Okay. So these are something that I was saying, like what are the types of innovation. Now let me say like how this innovation development process can be carried out for above works, like as I was saying, for product, process, marketing, as well as like organization. What are the points which I'm speaking now might be suitable for few types like of innovation, but obviously apart from that, it is mandatory for most of the ideas that are developed in innovation. For example, like what are these ideas exactly? What are these procedures? These are something that are mainly followed in big development in the industries, especially in large scale industries. There are like certain stages. So these main stages in product innovation, the innovation development process are: the first thing that you have to be, when you are focusing on innovation, you have to identify the need and the problem recognition. In case if you are able to find out what is the need and problem recognition, and from that you start getting the idea like how it can be done. And the second thing will be like you are going to apply a basic or applied research. So first of all, you need to find the need and the problem recognition of what you are going to innovate. As far as I say, like it might be an idea, it might be a feature, it might be a practice, or it might be an object. So you need to identify the need and problem recognition of what it should be done. So what will be the second stage after you find out the need? What will be the second stage of innovation development process? It will be an applied, or it will be a basic research. Okay, so this will be one of the things that most of the innovators, they have been studying in diffusion research have been through technological innovations. The reason is basic research is your original investigation for advancement of scientific knowledge. As I'm saying, whatever the ideas are you focusing? As I was saying, like you have to carry out certain things with your product. For example, innovation in the camera. From the first camera which they developed in the world to the current camera, the DSLR type, whatever the type camera is for animal photo shoot or animal photography, portrait, landscape photographies, they follow certain things which should be very, very mandatory within this. Such things like your camera adjustment, focal length, the distance the light which you use to capture the product 100%. After that, you give additional features like controlling the ray light, adjusting the light travel through the object, and controlling the backlight of the picture, like through your camera, making the settings for different types of modes, panorama mode, portrait mode, landscapes mode, like a lot of settings. These are some of the features of innovation. But the truth is, the camera design will be like very similar, but in a modified way. The design will be innovated, but not in a very different one. Because if you take a lot of companies, they'll use the same procedure, same material for developing it. They try to capture the market with different types of features. Like such things are called market innovations. So these are the things which have been like selected, like on what basis, on what stage can the innovation development process can be. Third one, once you complete your research, after that, you go for a development. So, what is this development? Development is generally nothing but it's a research and development. So, once you complete the research, you start researching and developing. Always come closer to usually the research precedes the development. So, whatever you have concluded in your research through by basic research or applied research, you are transferring into a development. Development is something like you can develop in two distinct phases also. Like innovation process of putting an idea in some form, or else you can say like you can develop a product. For example, like a lot of people who doesn't have a capacity, or they say like I don't have a knowledge of how to develop this product, they can say, okay, I can give you the idea. This is the idea of my innovation. This idea, whether it might be applicable, you might like it. In case if you are interested in working on this idea, why can't you support me? Like everyone will not be a match for all. They will have some barriers which they always try to work with a group of people to achieve it. So after you complete your research, you go for research and development. And once you develop it, whether it might be an idea or it might be a product, after that you go for commercialization. As you know, like commercialization, it's like you are developing it in the terms of production, manufacturing, packaging, marketing, and distribution of products. As I said, in terms of manufacturing, production, distribution of products, that embodies in an innovation. So you are putting your innovation, your idea, somehow you are converting into a product, a reality, where people are currently able to visualize your innovation. They're going to feel your innovation. Okay, if you have done like this, I have a good idea of like, I feel it very comfortable for me to work on this product due to this innovation. Such things, vehicle. You buy a e-vehicle, you drive it, you like the speed, the way you can able to control the ride, comfort, all those things. Such kind of innovation is developed, and that is what like you are commercializing your development, commercializing your innovation through development into the market. So that how do you do it? Like the things like as I was saying, like production, you manufacture it, you pack it in a way, and you start distribution of your products. Commercialization is simple to say like conversion of your idea or research into a product or a service for a sale in the market. A simple definition is this: you convert your idea and idea from research into a product or a service. It might be a service, or it might be a product, or it might be a feature. So that you convert it for a sale in the marketplace. Many innovations from research activities do not come from R&D. As I said, like if you say, okay, sir, whatever the ideas today, in the world they've developed in R&D has been converted into commercialization. No, such things will never happen. The reason is companies will have a lot of strategies when they are developing a product from an R&D to a commercialization. So these are the things which are quite necessary you have to follow when you are trying to work on development of innovation technology. And once commercialization is done, you have to go for optional. You have to go for next few steps. But these few steps are quite crucial choices because, like a person who are in the initial stage of initially working in the innovation area will not try to adapt this thing. But though then, let me highlight you what are those steps actually. Those are called diffusion, and the next one is called consequences. So these are the optional steps, but these are very crucial choices in the entire innovation development process. So innovation, gatekeeping, controlling whether this innovation is diffused to a potential adopters. For example, like whatever the product you are developing, in case you are not very familiar with all the problems and all the, for example, like I can say it's a problem, I can say it's a driver or a barrier, you can think about it. These are the things quite important for innovation. So in case if you have developed a product and you have seen like I have a lot of good features in my product, but obviously I have a lot of barriers also in my product through innovation. You have to be very careful in dealing with this, because if you say let me go for a diffusion, or if I go for an adoption process, if your product does not beneficially have a consequence of the R&D work, and it does not completely derive the work from the research, it might lead to errors, and that errors might lead to problems in your innovation. So most of us, like people who are working on such areas, will not try to work on this diffusion adopters or consequences. So as I'm once again highlighting all the important things, in case, for example, you say, okay, after from now, I'll be working on some new product development using innovation techniques. As I said, simple thing to follow is, first step is find the need and problem recognition for why you are selecting this innovation, and start working on basic or applied research, how this can be helpful for you to develop your innovation. And third thing is like your R&D, converting your research into a development and some prototypes, or you can speak your development in terms of ideas, and you can also propose through some valuable sources. Then start working on commercialization of the entire product from research into development. Outcome of your research through a product innovation, converting from a development to a product or a service, bringing into the market using the traditional or like advanced techniques, production, packaging, marketing, on all those things. So the innovation development process, I was saying, like it consists of a lot of new things such as missions, activities, and there is that occur the recognition of need or a problem through research, development, commercialization of an innovation. Through this kind of diffusion and adoption of innovation by users to its consequences. So this is how I simply concluded the point, how I developed it for innovation development process. So this might be helpful for you in case you are planning to work on innovation products in your master project, or like if you want to work on your UG projects, or if you're going to work on obviously like if you want to work on like big automotive companies, like how they are feeling, and what are the important things you should consider, because these things are very mandatory. You don't need to like worry that okay, this my product, will it have all the stages to be covered. You don't need to worry about it. Obviously those things are very, very strategic, definite, the sequence which have been followed by many industries, obviously in Europe as well as in India, definitely. So well, This is my conclusion on innovation development process. And next, I will need to start on the topic on commercialization of lab technologies. How this commercialization of lab technologies? Okay, what this commercialization of lab technologies really tells that. In case if I want to say like how do you say this big thing, like for example, like you put big words like commercialization of what is this lab technology, what does it mean? Let me tell you in a very simple way. This is nothing but moving your technologies from lab to the market. This is called commercialization of technologies. Just you have to move your lab to the market. For example, let me say one of my example, which I am currently working with IIT Madras. Obviously, like it's a quite technical area, but I wish that you will be understanding a little. Okay. I'm working with a department in IIT Madras, MME department, Materials and Metallurgical. So the objective of this department is to find out a new market for different materials, especially in automotive companies. So we were working on a UTM machine for a whole stretchability apparatus. Like we use a UTM machine and we stitch the hole of 10 diameter using a punch, and we see like whether the crack is initiated in it. So when the team from IIT Madras, they called me and they were saying me like, okay, we have an idea of doing a miniature of this total size. The reason is that entire setup for doing the testing was it was more than like 10 to 20, 25 tons. We have to do it in a micro size. The reason I was asking, why do you want to go for a miniature size? Already there is an existing work in the macro level. It is like a very big machine. Okay, so they were saying like this is what we do for commercialization of lab technologies. We are going to move this lab into a market for whole testing to an automotive company, large automotive companies, especially if you say like BMW, Tesla. These all peoples will have these kinds of small labs for testing the holes in their vehicle bodies using this whole stretchability. So I was saying like, why can't they construct this big one? Are they feeling that investing money on this big machine isn't a problem? No. Then what? So anything that we are doing in the lab, we have to do it in a miniature size, and we try to push into the market or for the clients who are paying me the money. So this is something called commercialization of technology. That is moving your lab. So what we were designing is, we designed that entire system within a size of 300 mm. That is like a 1 feet. So the size which we were existing in the previous was nearly like 2 meter. We converted into a size of 300 mm with a small miniature level to bring that lab out into the market. This is how we do it. People might be people might think like, how can we do such a big machine into a small size? Possibilities are there. That is what like miniature of designing a heavy machines into a small size. These are something called as like moving a lab into the market. For that, you are it's also not about the lab. It's about like moving the technology idea from the lab to the market. The technology is called whole stretchability. That is what we are doing it. So what is this lab technologies commercialization? It is just nothing but a gap between a technical invention or a market recognition of an idea and efforts to commercialize it. You might say like, sir, we have an idea of technical invention and a vehicle product, or we are developing a new idea in laptops for people. We are developing a new market recognition of any idea, whatever you are in any sector. The gap that between this technical innovation of your idea and the effort, what and all effort you come to commercialize it, these can be done through lab technologies. That is called lab technology. So how do you first find out like how it can be done. So for that, what you have to do is, in case if you are willing to do such things, you have to know the commercial value of your work. If you say I have a work and I'm going to work on commercial value, and that commercial value has some market, and you have to design or you have to use innovation technology, innovation development process to make it in a very compact, simple and an elegant way, novel design, to bring it to the market, using the bring it to the market. So for that, you have to know like what and all the gap between these things and the market, that bridge which closes the gap between this thing. First thing, as I was saying, the very basic step is you have to discover your commercial value in your work. So the first thing the people do recognize is certain technical or market discovery for your commercial implications. If I say, okay, I have a product and I have made an innovation in that, you go to you can't directly go to a customer first of all. So you go to some person who is saying like, okay, can you invest on me? I have to bring this product to the market. The first question they'll ask is whether this is commercial. If it is commercial, it is easy for me to market. If it is not so user friendly or not so commercial, then I have to put a lot of effort in developing that market. So people are not nowadays very interested in developing that market. People are very interested in smoothly running with the market by commercializing all your ideas. It must be very easy, user friendly, as I was saying, adoptable. Like any people can able to adopt that idea or like the invention or your feature, your product, whatever it is, and start using it. For example, like smartphones, you can see like smartphones will have a lot of product ideas, product innovations, and this thing. So whenever they develop an idea, maybe an app also, they'll always, first thing they always feel free to check is whether you have a commercial value for this thing. For that, they'll do a research. They'll understand what people feels. For example, like people are using Facebook. After a certain period of time, Facebook became more. People now are using WhatsApp. Now WhatsApp has been like it for a longer time. It's need a new version. Now people are planning for go for metaware, like that. Everything. Like long back when your fathers were using vehicles, kicker start. Today we have a self start. Tomorrow we will have a voice recognition start. For example, like you are coming out with an automotive company, you are developing a product. You say, okay, start the engine. Okay, it's a development and in a technical invention. You go to a customer and you say, I want to do this. No, he says, you have to find an investor or someone to commercialize your product and bring it to the market. In case if you are wealthy, you can able to commercialize your own. But obviously, that gap between this technical invention or the market recognition and your effort to commercialize it, this can be done through lab technologies. Okay, obviously, like in case you're saying, okay, sir, if I want to do such things, how do I able to learn about it? What are the methods? Do you have any sequence or do you have any patterns to be followed with this? Obviously, like just simple as I was saying, like you have 6 main stages in innovation development process. Similarly, you have certain ways in the which like you can work on this commercialization. First thing what you have to do is you have to discover the research, your idea or your invention has a commercial value or not. In case if you come to conclude through your work that your in technical invention, your idea, your product, your feature has a commercial value, then the second step what you are going to follow is you have to manage this as a product. So idea of developing this, manifesting this product, the reason is like anything which can be used by people, they can't visualize the product very easily. Maybe people who are quite good in big design areas, a lot of people who have experience, they can visualize it, but it can't be reached to a normal people. So to commercialize it, what you need to do is you have to manifest this discovery as a product. And third one, how do you do it? As I was saying, in contacting the right persons. So you have to communicate the potential through a compiling business case. You have to make a business case study, and you have to communicate with you have to communicate the potential through a business case study. You have to explain it how it can be commercialized, whether you can use the lab technologies with the current trends what you are having, or you have to follow a traditional method, or like you need the support of an expert, or you say like this product can be done in such a way that it might be helpful in the future, but right now we don't have the resources to such products. So you have to explain all these things through a business case study. He says, okay, from now after 10 years, the products will be developed in a better way. That time we will have the resources. The materials or the manufacturing process has not been worked for a long time. So they say like, okay, let us start like, we'll focus on that. That time your idea will be an idea only. It will not be a product. So you have to communicate the potential through a proper business case study. And fourth thing, what you have to do is you have to acquire resources needed to establish potential. And in that way, like what you need to do is like you have to work on proper materials, understanding how it can be done, what way it can be done, whether you have the current resources with you right now to work, or if you're saying that so the resources will be developed in the later period, we can adopt in that time. Temporarily, we can use different resources to achieve our results. So such things are like that. Obviously, the fourth point, as I was repeating, acquire resources needed to establish potential, and also like you have to use these resources to reduce the risk of the potential, like your idea or the invention or whatever it is. Reason is, all the products, all the ideas, all the features, anything that you are developing through product innovation will definitely have a risk factor. Without risk factor, there is no product developed. The reason is, the point is whether your risk factor is at very low level or your risk factor is at very high level. So to understand these risk factors, there are different ways of adopting the products by testing it out in, for example, to say like DFM, like DFMEA, FMEA ideas, like a lot of things are developed in the lab technologies as well as like the markets. So once you develop your product and once you have developed it, you have to translate your criteria, your product criteria to approval. Reason is, today, if you are trying to develop some new things in the product, there are a lot of ways that you need to acquire certain things. For example, like you have to acquire certificates for a lot of medical certificates if you're developing in biomedical pharma. In case if you are working on mechanical products, you have to acquire a lot of quality certificates for your product, stating ISO, all those features. So these are one of the things that you have to always translate the project into a criteria used for approval. And there is a point like you come to a stage whether you are deciding to approve or not approve your project. Like you say, okay, my product is ready, my feature is ready. I've started right now for entering into the market. At that point, you have to think and conclude all the data and your previous research, everything stating whether this will be good or this will be okay or this will not be like an average one or this will be like a low profile work. So after that, you have to develop and launch your product into the market. So these are some of the steps that, as I was saying, it's a bridge between any technical invention and commercializing, bringing it to the market. From that, you can use any kind of technologies. It's not like your lab technologies. It's about like whatever the things that you come up. The manufacturing technologies that you come across. It's not about only manufacturing. Marketing needs a new trends like how to develop and do campaigns, ads, writing proposal letters, all those things. So these are some of the important things. Like we really we should have a basic knowledge when you are trying to develop commercialization of lab technologies. And we call this to say like a simple points. What I'm saying is all 8 to 9 points as called as crossing the valley of death. In case like you work on subjects like product innovation and intellectual property, you will be really coming to know like what this thing is called. It's called value of debt. The reason is they follow a certain curves for any product transforms from a technical invention and into a product, from that product into a commercialized product into the market. So obviously you have to have some basic knowledge to convert your real work, that is your research, your product idea, feature, or anything into a commercialized product finally and launch it. You have to follow these certain steps to bring it to the market. Um, so 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 these are the things like I like to present on this topic which they've given me for a process of innovation development and technological readiness level, and commercialization of lab technologies and tech transfers. Because true to say, like this topic is quite an excellent topic recently for engineers. Reason to learn is like there are a few things which you really follow in your academics, and there are a few things which you really follow in your project or your work experience. I mean, like I'm saying, like you work on an incubation, or you work on a startup, or you work on product innovations, but you might not able to find a relation between these things. But if you need to understand the relation between your academics and the real-time projects which you are planning to work, obviously I say like you have to really start focusing on few things such as product innovation, as well as like lab technologies. Lab technology is exactly what I mean to say from my point, which I've experienced so far in the industry, is any technology, maybe it might be a manufacturing technology, production technology, whatever it is you're working, try to understand it's as simple as a simple method, and I try to digest with new ideas like how it can be developed or how it can be used for bringing your product into commercialization. These are the important things. Apart from that, there is nothing big. Reason is like, as I was saying from my previous experience, which I worked with IIT Madras, even those people were like having a quite bit of knowledge, but not a very excellent knowledge. But when we started working on that, we came out with a new product, a new product idea. I can't say it's an innovation, but we came out with a new idea for the miniature of the experiment which we are planning to do it. And how it achieved is, as like everyone was good at something. For example, like I was good in design, I was good in designing and developing new things, and that guy was good in understanding the ideas of exactly what the experiment, how it can be done in a very smaller size, like miniature. And one guy was good like whether this can be suitable for commercialization. One guy was stating that when you go enter into a company, for example, if you propose this work to a Tata Steels, even Tata Steels, they have this facility in their manufacturing site. We had a video which was shared from Tata Steel Germany. We saw that facility was there, and those people were having not a macro one, but not a miniature, but a medium sized one. So that time, like these are the things, like when you're bringing it to commercial, you have to consider the people around you, like how they feel when they use this machine. That is most important thing. Apart from that, nothing. But anything can be done. That is a final. I mean, like my idea to the students. Like so, obviously, like you can't cover all the areas very easily. But to start with, if you want to like develop yourselves in a better career for in the startups or entrepreneurs or like in your companies, especially I'm highlighting for mechanical students. You can start learning something basic fundamentals in product innovation. A lot of books are available in online, like based on product innovations. So if you would able to follow those things, it will be definitely you will get a clear idea like how product innovation, technological inroad, and commercialization, how they're related, how design can help you. Especially like when I come to CITChennai, I see a lot of startups, they're working on new products. For them, this product innovation could be a very good area. And the key points which I'm highlighting in this webinar during for past 1 hour, stating on innovation development process as well as like commercialization of lab technologies, might be a little helpful to you through this session. and that's great. And thanks for everyone. We appreciate you being here, and thanks for the opportunity from CIT Business Incubation Forum. And thanks again, one and all, for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It was really interesting and informative. I'm sure everybody would have understood about innovation, commercialization, and everything else. Sir, if you want to, if you can ask any questions.
Yeah, if anyone wants to ask questions, they can kindly share in the chat. I'll try to reply.
Participants, if you have any doubts or any questions regarding this webinar, you can ask it in the chats. I guess no one has doubts, sir. You're so
I think so. Like people, okay, they may understand a little bit fewer. No problem.
We'll move on, sir. Now that we are moving to the end of the session, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who is here. On behalf of Chennai Institute of Technology, I would like to extend my appreciation to our speaker, Mr.T. Vignesh, who spared time from schedule to this occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely encourage us in the future events too, sir. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the institution, chairman and principal and staffs for standing as a supporting pillars. Last but not least, I would like to extend my extreme thanks and wishes to all the young minds present here who made this session an active one. I thank you all once again. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much.
You can leave, sir.